Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be doing a sketchbook tour, and I know this isn't the video that you guys were expecting, and I'll get to why in a second, but this is my Lab watercolor sketchbook, and I started this about 6 months ago when they sent it to me. These first few pages are just, this one on the left is just my swatches for all of the colors I have of my Holbein gouache, and this one on the right are, I think it is notes that I took while I took the course on drawing flowers actually, but this one especially I found really helpful, and it was about composition and distributing your weight around your page, or just generally the shape that you want. So I really liked that. This one is my first actual painting in this sketchbook, and this was my first one, but this was also around the time that I realized that this wouldn't be that great to use with watercolors, and it's because the paper is hot pressed and it's so smooth that you can really see the different textures and how they dried on the paper, and I don't think I like that one too much. So from this point on, I mostly just decided to use this sketchbook for gouache. I know there are a few more watercolor paintings here, but mostly just reserved this for gouache. These next ones are the few sketches that I tried with my highlighters actually. This big one I didn't like. I just don't like the way I drew her body. It didn't have that effect that the reference photo had, but I really like this one on the left, and I just topped it with my brush pen. I did the same thing for this one. This is my brush pen over my highlighters, and I think I just did the initial sketch with my red ballpoint pen. This one with the pencil is a failed sketch that I didn't like, and so I just redid it. This is what it was supposed to look like. I really like the sketch, and I did it for a real-time sketching video, and it's up on my channel if you guys want to see that. This one is one of the many plant studies that I've done. I think after I did that course with drawing the flowers, really so I could get more comfortable about drawing anything else other than people. And this next one I actually really like. A few of the paintings here I think didn't age as well as I remembered, but this one, every time I see it, I'm mostly surprised at how good it looks compared to how I remembered it. This was for a video that I did on Patreon, sort of like an introduction to painting portraits with gouache, and it's over on my Patreon if you guys want to check it out. These are just the swatches of colors that I mostly use. If you guys want to see what they are, you could take a screenshot of this. These top ones are for watercolors, and the ones at the bottom are for gouache. So this one on the right is just a sketch that I didn't end up liking too. It's more painful with this sketchbook when I don't like a sketch and I couldn't finish it because there's not that many pages, but I just felt like it wasn't worth the headache of trying to get this one done. This next one is just a sketch, and it was sort of like a palette cleanser because this one was just stressing me out, and so I just did this really fast sketch. This one is, I think, more recent. I did this with my highlighters and topped it with my brush pen. I just wanted to see how these colors would work together, and ended up really liking the effect. This next one is a spread of two of my painting over my pen sketches video. I love this one on the right. I think this is one of my favorites, but this one on the left is one of my least favorite. I just really didn't like this. It just really doesn't look like Scarlet, which is what she was supposed to look like. But yeah, I really like this one on the right. I also really like how her dress looks too. So this next one, as you can see, is actually the first try with the Scarlet painting. So you guys might have noticed I jump back and forth around my sketchbook, so it's not at all in chronological order, but I just didn't really like this one, and so I just went back to a blank page and did that. But this one is a little thumbnail study of the colors that I plan to use for my painting called Yonder, which I also did a video on. But this little plant thing, I just did a study on how my highlighters are gonna look on top of each other, and so I used these three colors, and I was really surprised by how they look on top of each other. So the pink and the yellow together made this really nice orange, and when I added the purple, which is its complementary color, it made this really nice brown together. So this next one on the right is another failed sketch, and I think I'm beginning to sense a theme here, but it was for my Alice in Wonderland painting, and I think it's on the next page. But this one, I think it's actually very recent. I realized that I haven't done a lot of pencil sketches, and so I just did this really fast. So this next one right here is the Alice painting that was supposed to be this one before it. I really can't figure this one out because I really like how it looks, but I can't explain why. I know that I really like the colors on it. It just has this very moody feel, but I don't know, I just really like the sketch so much. And I actually did it with my Mia gouache, which I think was so great for this painting, especially these kinds of colors. They're great to do with the Mia gouache. This one is just another highlighter sketch that I did over top of my red ballpoint pen sketch. This one is another ballpoint pen sketch, and I think this is a photo of Kali Ledger. And I just sketched it really fast. I was planning on going over it with a black pen, and I ended up liking the red pen so much, so I just left it as it is. I think the exercise here was to do most of the shading without lifting my pen off of the page, and it was just most of it, not really for the whole thing, and I really like the result that I came up with. And this one on the right is another one of my red pen sketches that I painted over with my Holbein gouache. And I don't know if you guys can see, but I really like how the metallic gold shines at an angle. I wish you guys could see this in person, but I just really think it's so pretty. I also think that how I did the person in the background aged better than I remembered. I remember not being sure about how it would look at the time, but every time I see this when I'm flipping through my sketchbook, I really like how it looks. So this one on the left is another one of my red pen sketches, but I really love this photo. I wish I knew where it came from. So I think it might be a K-pop group, but I'm not so sure. I was tempted at first to paint over it, but I really liked the sketch so much, and I ultimately just decided to leave it how it is. I also really like how his hand looks right here. It's so weird, but I really like how it looks. This one is another one of my sketches that I painted over with gouache. I don't know how to feel about this because I like how it looks, but I wish you feel the page out more. I should have planned the size of the painting before I started it. So before we get to this one is for that same Domestika course that I was talking about, and I even put the teacher for this, Isadora Zeffirino. Most of the flowers that you'll see in the sketchbook, and even the ones that came before this page, because I do jump back and forth in my sketchbook, so all of the flowers that I did in the sketchbook, I actually did after taking her course. These look very basic, but I think that was the point in the course, in that you have to see the flowers in their most basic shapes, and also to draw them in a way that you're most comfortable. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but it's such a good course. So this painting on the right is actually a light and color study that I did for Patreon too. And I have this really weird gripe with it, in that there really is something about it that scares me. I think how I drew the face is very reminiscent to a lot of Asian horror movies that I used to watch and really scared me as a kid. So other than that, I really love this painting. I really like the colors, especially on her wing right here. But yeah, these ones are just figure studies that I did. I did the initial figures first with my highlighters before going over them with my brush pen, and there are also some feet sketches in here. I just realized that I'm not that great at sketching feet, and so these are just some random studies. And these are some more basic flower shapes that I learned from the course. I really like this Macintosh rose. I'm not so sure if that's what it's called, but I really like how with this technique I could draw roses from memory. But yeah, this is just really breaking down the flowers into their most basic shapes before drawing the rest of the details in. This one on the right is another sketch for a real-time video that I did, and it's up on my channel too. So You can see this is another flower that I drew after taking the course. I really liked this one before I put the highlighters over it because I think that it really muddied up the lines. But in any case, I still love this sketch. So on the right is my Hermione painting. Under this is just my pen sketch, and you guys might have seen my video of it too. So this next one is also from Harry Potter. This time it's Harry, and like the other ones, it was done with my red pen before going over it with my Mia gouache. I really like the colors in here, but I think it looks really dark and it's just different from most of my other paintings. So these ones on the right are just some pen sketches. This one I went over with my brush pen, but this one to its left I really like. I had planned to go over it with my G-Tech pen, but once again I really liked how it looks the way it is, and that's why I just left it that way. But yeah, this next painting, I don't know if you guys remember, but I did this one on Livestream and I just finished it off after the Livestream. I actually finished this off quite recently, just trying to see what it would look like. I like it now because it looks more like the model. I think before it just didn't resemble the reference photo at all. So this one on the left I love. This one is very recent. I think I might have done this a couple of days ago. This is just done with my red pen that I went over with my G-Tech pen. I think this one was from a show. I just don't know what it was from. I just saw it on Pinterest and I really liked it, so I just sketched her like this. These ones are some more single line flowers from that same flower course. I really love these, and I sort of wish that I didn't go over the background with the highlighters. I just think it took away from the delicateness of the lines. And then this next one is just a really quick sketch that I did with my red pen and a brush pen. It's just really fast, and it's also a very small one, so I think this took me a little under 30 minutes, but yeah, it's just really cute, and I also really like it for what it is. These ones are also one of my favorites. I did all three of these with my highlighters. This one on the right was supposed to be Rihanna, and it doesn't look like her, so that really sucks. But these ones I really loved. I am not really that great at drawing animals, but I really love how these two looked. This bird especially, I really like the colors. And I also like how you can still see the roughness that the chisel tip was making from the highlighter, so I really like that. And then I just went over it with my brush pen again. These next ones are just very light watercolor sketches. Both of them are of plants, but this one on the right is of a photo that I found. And this one on the left I actually thought was just a straight up copy of a painting. But then I looked up the artist's website for this video, and his name is Albert Coetzee. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I saw on his website that the photo I copied it from is actually an x-ray of a flower, which I just thought was so mind-blowing. So this one on the right is just a painting of a beautiful cat photo that I found. I really love how their tails formed a heart, and I just thought that photo was so beautiful. The swatches at the bottom are just the colors that I used for it. It's just a sketch that I didn't like, and so I just didn't finish it, but this spread is why I had to do this video. This was supposed to be the next installment in my painting over my sketches video, but I didn't end up liking it. I really loved the photo, but I think there were some fundamental things that were wrong in my pen sketch that I couldn't get back unless I just repainted Lucy completely. It actually took me 5 days to get it to this point, but after all that, I just decided that it wasn't worth the time to try to fix it, and I'm just gonna redo the whole thing on a different sketchbook. I have a Moleskine sketchbook that I'm gonna start right after this one. Yeah, I think this one deserves to be done right. So this last page is just some very random sketches. This big one on the left is actually a mixture of my acrylic gouache, and then I went over with the traditional gouache. It was really interesting to see how both of those mediums layered on top of each other. It's a very weird texture between them, but I really ended up liking it. I also like the colors on it. This one on the right, I didn't end up liking that much. This painting also made me realize that I didn't actually like acrylic gouache as much as traditional gouache. And so this very last one on the sketchbook is just this sketch that I did of this beautiful old man, and that is it for this whole sketchbook. Thank you guys for watching this one. Thank you to my patrons for supporting me, and I will be seeing you guys again soon.